Hey guys, Mark Anderson here. Appreciate all of the questions. Wanted to go over a few Q&As for the week that I've gotten from subscribers. If you have any more, feel free to put them in the description below. So I got another pretty broad question, which is how do you find the edge in 0DT when 0DT is so risky? So again, in regards to this, risky, I don't think is necessarily the best term. So when I think of edge, and a good way to define it is edge is being able to find an accurate price on an asset, basically more than the marketplace, and then being able to protect against the risk of basically extrapolating out that edge long enough so that you could realize it. So when we think of 0DT, it actually is probably very accurately priced because there's no overnight risk. So we can, transact whenever we want, and all that's known in the market is basically going into prices. So even the price that's quoted is most likely accurate because volatility has been overstated over time. However, now protecting against the risk, which is kind of what I like when, this person brought that up, is that this comes down to basically the ability for us to make assumptions. The first easiest thing is never risk what you have and need for what you don't have and don't need. So keep your size very small and responsible. I think probably around 0.5% for people starting out. For me, I'll go a little closer to potentially 1%. But even if you get the absolute worst case scenario, you're probably using 20% of your buying power and can maybe have a 5 or 6% loss. So if you're targeting as a portion of credit, so we need to look at those two factors. And when you're asking, is it risky? Maybe you should say, what is my risk and how am I managing that instead? So I recently got a question from a subscriber about some of the long vol trades I do, specifically with long puts and long calls and how do I target it. So I want to preface this a little first with, in regards to hedging, you have to determine what you're hedging off. So in general, the way to look at it, since puts are very rich when you sell them because they're skew, you want to protect against vega in a increase in implied volatility. So I would normally want to go further out in duration and further out of the money around the 2 standard deviation or 5 delta. And I like to hold those in between 7 days or even all the way out to 90 days. So in large crashes, those can offset it. I don't really expect those to make money. Calls, on the other hand, especially since there's upward drift in the market, in general, anything over 7 days is going to be quite lucrative with calls. I know it's kind of nuts, but as long as there's over 7 days on the call and you basically throw a dart in the middle of the night, you'll find something positive expected value. So the main takeaway is just look for longer duration and further out of the money for puts, and then basically anything for a call. But you have to answer yourself, what exactly does this hedge and why exactly am I using it? Another people asked, how do I manage my risk when I'm trading 0DT credit spreads? So I use a stop loss basically like everyone else. It's not a real crazy parameter. I have another video that goes more in depth about that, but it all really starts with I'm only trading trades when I already think about the risk in mind. So every trade I trade has a positive expected value since 2016. So I'm not just going with any recency bias. I want basically boring, not necessarily huge amounts of edge, just something that is consistent, basically like volatility risk premium is overstated. And when I do that, I also want to make sure that the first thing I do with every backtest I have is I have what's called a slippage assumption. So if I trade a trade that sells $500 and has a 10% PCR or $50 expected value per trade with a $10 of slippage, I may not like that trade that much. But if I can see with that I could have $65 of slippage, which would, let's say, be like, 15 to 20% of the bid-ask spread, I'm pretty confident that the worst case is not actually going to be that bad in that trade. So by starting out all of your trades with that in mind, you just go for it. Also, I don't like to trade a bunch like at the end of day, because at the end of day, even though the trades may look better, you are closer to the money and you are closer to expiration, which means you have more exposure to gamma. So you're basically 0DT on steroids. So on those trades, even though they may look good and they may have never failed, I could see how those assumptions would be fragile. So the key is thinking about your risk and what you're accepting. Because when I first started trading, there, is basically a moment where people are like, I can use a stop loss, you can do whatever. But eventually you need to come to terms that you are the counterparty to some risk and you're assuming that risk for edge in return. And really wrapping your mind around that and kind of having serenity of controlling that and accepting whatever that risk is, that is when your risk management will really go to the next level, because you can think about it in a more dynamic way and you can think about ways to offset that, whether that just be sizing or timing or mentally what you could withstand. So I got another question in regards to leverage in my trading. So I think we really need to think of leverage in two different ways. So since I do everything as vertical spreads, being every time I sell an option, I basically buy a wing, whether that be 50Y, 100Y, 200Y. So my buying power is always capped. So in the eyes of a broker, I am using no margin or leverage. However, I want to go into the concept of leverage and how to really protect against that. So if my account is 600 grand or 1 times the size of SPX and I'm trading 5 contracts at the money, my account could potentially go down 5 times faster than SPX for each point move. So in regards to that, you do have to think of how do you protect against your risk in regards to leverage, and how do you basically look at protecting against that within reason. But no, in the eyes of the broker, we do have an absolute max loss, which is basically the width of our spread. This is kind of a huge benefit of options in my main theory behind trading, that there's a lot of risk with an investment. You can basically define what the downside is. And therefore, now we can focus on that. That has been easily put off, that no one can make us close out our position unless we have to. We can determine how do we protect against risk and how would we like to size. So if the market does go down, we're not eating 5 times the speed of the loss comparative to the underlying like SPX. Hey guys, thanks for all the questions. I always appreciate it. If you have any more, put more support in the comment. I will also be working more with Connor in the upcoming episodes. So if there's anything that's more applicable to newer people or something you would want Connor to basically struggle through that you guys could watch, drop that in the comments and I will be sure to include it on our next video. Thank you.